This just got real. Joe Burrow is suiting up. The Eagles' defense is under the spotlight. And Howie Roseman just pulled off another shocking trade. All while major roster battles rage on. We're just hours away from one of the most revealing preseason games in years. And what's happening behind closed doors might change the entire season for Philly. If you think training camp was intense, wait until you hear this. I just got back from Eagles training camp, and let me tell you, this team looks dangerous. I saw it with my own eyes. There were standout players making plays all over the field. It was way more intense than I expected. And the news didn't stop there. We've got breaking updates on injuries, major trade news, and huge decisions coming down just before kickoff. With the first preseason game only a day away, the energy at One Novacare Way is off the charts. Let's start with the biggest shocker. The Bengals are playing their starters Thursday night. That includes Joe Burrow. Yes, you heard that right. The Eagles' defense will be tested against one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. This isn't some boring preseason walkthrough. It's about to get real, fast. And according to sources, the Eagles will match that intensity, at least on defense. Defensive starters are expected to play for a few series, and it makes sense. Defensive coordinator Vic Fangio has been open about it. He still hasn't decided on some position battles, and he wants to see these guys in real game action before making any final choices. And if you remember last year, even Jalen Carter played in the first preseason game. So this approach? It's nothing new. Fangio wants Warriors, and this is their test. But what about the offense? Here's where it gets tricky. Nick Sirianni didn't give a clear answer at his press conference. When asked if Jalen Hurts and the rest of the offensive starters will play, he dodged it, saying he talks with Howie Roseman and the coaches before making the final call. But from everything I've seen and heard, don't expect to see Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, or Lane Johnson take the field. Thursday night will be about the backups, names like Will Shipley and A.J. Dillon getting real reps. It's the defense's night to shine, while the offense stays in the shadows, for now. And just when you thought the news was done, boom, another Howie Roseman trade drop. That's right. Howie pulled off his fifth August trade in a row, flipping defensive tackle Thomas Booker to the Raiders for cornerback Yakorian Bennett. Let me break this down. Booker is a solid player. He just couldn't break through on the Eagles' loaded defensive line. But now he'll get a real shot with the Raiders, and I wish him the best. But this move says a lot about Philly's confidence in their young defensive tackles, Maro Ojomo, Ty Robinson, and Gabe Hall. Fangio clearly believes in these guys, and Howie made a move to add help where it's needed more, the secondary. Now, Bennett? He's interesting. He was actually drafted one pick before Kelly Ringo. He ran a blazing 4.30 at the combine and held big names like Yamar Chase and Jerry Jeudy to almost nothing in limited starts. So yeah, the potential is there. He's sticky in man coverage and fearless on the outside. But there's a reason the Raiders let him go. Bennett tore his labrum last season and missed a lot of time. And even this camp, he wasn't performing great, falling behind guys like Eric Stokes and Darren Porter. He dropped to fourth on their depth chart. Still, he's now 100% healthy, and the Eagles clearly aren't scared of his past injuries. Remember, they were big fans of Jair Brown last draft, and he had a similar shoulder issue. This trade has Howie fingerprints all over it, smart, calculated, and connected. A former Eagles executive now works for the Raiders, so it's easy to see how this deal came together fast. The real question now, can Bennett fight for a real starting role? Or is he just depth? One thing is clear. Howie is not waiting for problems. He's solving them before they happen. What do you think? Can Yakorian Bennett earn a starting role in this secondary? And who are you most excited to watch in Thursday's game? Drop your thoughts in the comments and rate your confidence in this Eagles roster on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's talk, Birds fans. Let's be real, Nick Sirianni's comment about the Yakorian Bennett trade being just for depth? Yeah, I'm not buying it. This move says way more about Kelly Ringo and Adderee Jackson than Sirianni's letting on. From what I saw at practice Tuesday, both of them were rotating between the first and second teams. And guess what? Neither looked great. Ringo had one solid coverage rep and should have had a pick, but he dropped it. Adderee just didn't flash. And here's the real juice. A few people close to the team are whispering that Vic Fangio wasn't on board with the Adderee signing to begin with. One insider even told me, and while it's just a rumor, that Jackson might be a cut candidate if Bennett comes in and performs well. So don't let the depth signing narrative fool you. This is a serious shakeup in the cornerback room, and the pressure's officially on for Ringo and Jackson. That said, it's a smart move by Howie Roseman. Get Bennett into camp now. Let him compete. Let him learn the system. Don't wait until week 7 to make a panic trade like the Kevin Byard deal last year. This is proactive, and it could pay off big. Now, let's talk about what I saw at practice. The two biggest non-injury updates. Zach Bond and A.J. Brown were both sitting out. But don't panic, they're fine. I was literally right next to them on the sideline. They were coaching up younger players, hyping teammates, locked in. Just precautionary rest, nothing long-term. But my biggest on-field takeaway? The wide receiver battle is heating up. And one name stood out immediately. Terrace Marshall Jr. This guy finally returned after that knee injury, and man, he looked smooth. Tall, sure hands, moved well. AJ Brown even called him out earlier in camp as a guy to watch, and now I get why. But the real star? Elijah Cooks. He passed the eye test. No question. Built like a pro. He was making plays. 2 touchdowns during team drills, including a slick cutback move that left Eli Ricks in the dust. If he keeps balling like this on Thursday night, he's making the 53. Mark my words. On the flip side, things aren't looking great for Johnny Wilson. I counted at least 4 drops, and you could see the frustration. Wide receiver coach Aaron Moorhead kept pulling him aside, trying to fix things, but it didn't help much. Right now, it's Cooks rising, Wilson falling. The bottom line? Behind AJ Brown and Devonta Smith, the wide receiver group actually looks deeper than it has in years. These young guys are hungry, and they're making plays. Even Devonta said it after practice. A.J. Brown being out might be the best thing for this room. The young receivers are getting all the reps with the starters. They're learning the playbook, getting comfortable with Jalen Hurts, and stepping into real roles, just in case their number's called this season. And that's what you want, right? Players who know what to do, so they can just go out there and play free. Let's not forget my other huge takeaway. Moro Ojomo. All the hype? 100% legit. But I'll dive deeper into that in the next section. Sound off in the comments, who are you pulling for in this wide receiver battle? Are you Team Elijah Cooks or still holding out hope for Johnny Wilson? And how do you feel about this cornerback situation? Is Adderee's job in real danger? Let me know. I read every comment. Let me paint you a picture, because what I saw at practice left me shaking my head in disbelief. And in Moro Ojomo is an absolute monster. I'm not exaggerating when I say I saw him get at least 3 sacks on Jalen Hurts during full team drills. Now yes, they weren't in full pads, but don't let that fool you. Ojomo was blowing people up. On one play, he left Landon Dickerson in the dust, crashing into the backfield like he was shot out of a cannon. After that, he bull rushed his way through starters and backups like they weren't even there. I've been talking about Moro Ojomo since the start of camp, but Tuesday was the first time I actually watched him live. And let me tell you, the hype is real. I watched nearly 20 of his reps, and alongside Jalen Carter, he was the best defensive lineman on the field, hands down. If they leave him one-on-one this season, he will destroy people. I'm telling you now, buy all the Moro Ojomo stock you can. I'm going all in. This dude is for real. And he's not the only one who flashed. Josh Uch stood out too. Veteran presence, rotating with the first and second teams. Smart, focused, and clearly loving what he's seeing from this younger defensive line group. After practice, he talked about how much talent there is and how it's just about putting it all together. You can see he's becoming the big brother of this pass rush unit. And someone else soaking it all in? Jalix Hunt. The second-year edge rusher is flying all over the place, no matter who he lines up with. First team, second team, one-on-one or two-on-one, the energy never drops. You can tell he's been learning from Uch, studying him like a book. After practice, Hunt even said he sits with Uch just to ask questions like why he uses certain moves or how he attacks different formations. He's like a sponge, and it shows. That's the kind of hunger you want to see in camp. Oh, and one more name to circle, Patrick Johnson. He got real reps with the first team defense, not just one or two snaps, but a good chunk of time. He's on the roster bubble, sure, but he popped last preseason, and he's clearly fighting to stick around. He told me he's put on more muscle this year, feels stronger, and just wants to help this team however he can. Don't sleep on him. He's got something to prove. Now let's flip the script and talk offense. Again, no pads, but this wasn't a chill walkthrough. These were high-intensity red zone reps and situational drills. And honestly, the offense came to play. Jalen Hurts looked locked in. I counted 5 touchdown passes between 7-on-7s and full team reps. He connected with Dallas Goedert on a high ball in the back of the end zone, dropped it right over Drew Nakobe like a dart. Then he hit Devonta Smith on a beautiful deep ball. But the throw of the day, it was a laser, right to Johnny Dawson, between 2 defenders. Nearly a touchdown, and it had the whole offense fired up. Hurts was hyped. Dawson was hyped. It was a moment that screamed, this connection is real. Hurts even said afterward that he's building real trust in Dawson. Last year, Dawson was traded late in camp and had to learn everything fast. This year? Totally different. He looks comfortable, confident, and Hurts is looking his way a lot. Number 2 is going to be a problem this year, in a good way. Only real blemish on Hurts' day? A deep ball that sailed high. Looked like it was for Elijah Cooks, but it floated right into Nakobe Dean's hands for an interception. First one of camp for Dean. But we'll get to him in a second. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and tell me. Are you buying into the Moro Ojomo breakout hype? And what do you think of the Jalen Hurts-Johnny Dawson chemistry? Who impressed you most from practice? I want to hear it all. Tell me your breakout pick for 2025. Let me tell you what I saw with my own eyes, and why Thursday night might just be the beginning of something special on this Eagles defense. Philadelphia went heavy on base defense, and guess who was holding it down at safety almost every single snap? Nakobe Dean. He was out there nearly the entire time, not moving around, not switching spots, just locked in at safety, play after play. There was maybe one moment where I saw him in the nickel, but outside of that, he stayed planted deep. It's becoming clear. Vic Fangio sees something big in him at that position. And Thursday night? Get ready. We're going to see a full dose of Nakobe Dean at safety, and I honestly can't wait. He's fast, he's sharp, and he's playing with purpose. But it wasn't just Dean turning heads. Let's talk about Jair Brown. Seeing him up close? This guy is built like a tank, but he moves like a lightning bolt. No pads meant we didn't get to see him lay someone out. But even without contact, you feel his presence on the field. He's always near the ball. Always. He's tracking everything, covering ground with crazy speed. It's like he's everywhere at once. Jalen Hurts said it himself after practice. Brown just stands out. You notice the way he moves, the way he reads, the way he reacts. And what's crazy is, he's still learning. He's starting to settle in, starting to trust his instincts, and when that fully clicks, watch out. He's got the natural athletic gifts, the football IQ, and now he's surrounded by a strong linebacker room and great coaching. You can feel it building. Brown is going to be special. This defense? It's quietly starting to take shape. And it's starting with these young, hungry, fast, and fearless players who are ready to fly. Do you think Nakobe Dean is the right fit at safety this season? And what's your early read on G.I. or Brown? Future star or just hype? Drop your answers in the comments and let's talk about how this defense is coming together.